Okay, we're going to talk about graphing a linear function right now, or an integer function. Um, and here it says we're going to graph g after we get the range. So basically what they're saying is if we have x and g of x right here. So all of our x values are given as 0, -1, 0, 1, and 2. If we were to plug in -1 for x right here, we'd have 1 minus 2 times -1. So that's 1 plus 2, or 3. If we plug in 0 for x, we'd have 1 minus 0, or 1. If we plug in 1 for x, it's just like this one, only with the plus 1. So 1 minus 2 is -1. And if we plug in 2 for x, we get 1 minus 2 times 2, which is 4. And 1 minus 4 is -3. That is actually what our range is. So if we just plug in these numbers in this column right here as 3, and then we do a 1, and then we do a -1, and we do a -3. So then they want us to graph these points. So we have -1, 3. So to the left 1 and up 3, graph a point. 0, 1, 1, -1, and 2, -3. Now it should turn out like a line. They don't have us connect the dots. They only want us to plot or graph the 4 dots that are given. So we're going to do another one. Again, we're going to want to plug in each value. I think making the table really helps. So let's try that. We have x and, oh, they called it g of x again. Good. So here's our x's, -4, -2, 1, and 3. So we're going to start by plugging in -4 for x. We have 2 times -4 is -8, plus 2 is -6. And then we're going to plug in -2. 2 times -2 is -4, plus 2 is -2. And then we plug in 1, so we have 2 times 1 plus 2 is 4. And then we plug in a 3, so 2 times 3 is 6, plus 2 is 8. Those 4 numbers right here, that is what we list for our range. That's what we're going to put here in this box. We have -6, and we're going to have -2, and then we're going to have 4, and then we'll have 8. And then we're going to graph each point like as if these are the points, -4, -6. You just go across this way, and then we have -2, -2, and so on down. So we're going to start with -4, -6. I come over 4 and down -6 and plot a point. Oops, I didn't click on pencil. -4, -6, -2, -2, 1, 4, and 3, 8. It should look like a straight line if we were to connect them. So if you have dots all over the place, it's probably not correct and you'll want to recheck it. So that's that one. Let's just do one more just for kicks and giggles. Here we go. So we have our x and our h of x. Our x is -3, -2, 1, and 5. When we plug in a -3 for x, we get 1 minus 2 times -3. That's 1 minus -6, which is 1 plus 6, or 7. If we plug in a -2 for x, we get 1 minus a -4, which is 5. If we plug in 1 for x, we get 1 minus 2 times 1, which is -1. And then we plug in for 5 for x. So we have 1 minus 10, which is a -9. So those numbers in this column here, we're going to list for our values. So we have 7, and then 5, and then -1, and -9. And then we're going to plot these points. So it's going to be -3, 7. So come over 3 and up 7, over 2 and up 5, to the right 1 and down 1, and to the right 5 and down 9. And I notice that they're kind of all in a straight line, so I feel very comfortable about this, and I'll just click check. And that's the end of the lesson. So I hope that this helps with graphing these integer functions.